Hey guys, in this video I want to address a point that should make you clear in which mindset you should come after for you bad breakup. And why it might be easier after some time to accept what and how something went wrong in the relationship. I know that you don't want to hear this shortly after. But did you perhaps overlook certain things that you could have done better from the beginning? Of course, the topic also goes towards dating and getting to know each other. It could also help you in the future. I think that you first have to realize and accept what was and how it was. I am talking about red flags, which you should have seen and evaluated at the moment of getting to know each other. That is, points about the woman and your relationship with each other that should ring alarm bells in you. But now you usually see only the best in them, because the pheromones shoot through your head and cloud your view of the whole. You are in seventh heaven, although you should actually just lay the foundation for something long-lasting. For this, you should perhaps also critically assess your counterpart independently of the whole thing. Does this person really suit me? Would I still be able to cope with every little thing about them for the next 30 years? These are the kind of things you don't find out in such a short time that you usually commit. Yes, the woman is great, you have a lot of fun with her and you feel understood. But put yourself in the position you were in at the beginning of former relationships. You were exactly the same. In your imagination she was exactly the same. Otherwise you wouldn't have gotten together with her. And how did all these relationships end? Maybe you have learned from this and since the time of the breakup you have been paying attention to the biggest problem you had with your exes. You don't want to have that again in the future. But do you always have to go through an entire relationship to be able to cross one trait off your list at the end? You only have a certain amount of time in your life, and just the time when your value on the dating market is at its highest and you have the best chance of finding a partner who is truly a long-term fit, time is limited. Do you waste that time in 5 to 10-year relationships that make you miserable and only end up making you a little smarter? Or do you look from the beginning and pay attention to what quality your counterpart has for you in the first few months? Are you perhaps also directly away, if there come things that are not at all clear for you? I see it all the time that men go on dates with one of two goals, to get the woman into bed or that they enter into a committed relationship with them. In both cases, the man then does everything to please her. There may be nothing wrong with that if he doesn't want to make a firm commitment. But where does that lead in the second case? You don't find out what the woman really has to offer, except maybe her pretty smile. I once heard a nice phrase, dating is qualification. And you should approach it with this attitude. Of course you can show what you have to offer. Being charming never hurt anyone. But again, be yourself and not someone you think she might like. And then see how she reacts to you and what she brings to the table. It is ultimately your decision whether you enter into a relationship with her. Of course, it is also partly her decision. But even she sometimes can't judge it correctly when you pretend to want it all so badly because you find her so hot and think that she would be the one. So that's the basics, understand each other, be yourself and remember that you're going there with the goal of finding out if she's right for you. If you ignore red flags or don't see them directly and then go straight into a relationship, then it's your own fault. I don't exclude myself from that. In my past there was also the thinking that I don't want to be alone and a certain woman is my goal now. When I recapitulate the relationships today, it was just stupid. What's still important is to keep it on an equal footing. Have you grown or is it perhaps something completely different that you are looking for? Again, don't complain if you end up getting what you initially accepted. Setting limits is a good keyword here. Does she accept yours and can you accept her boundaries? Does she want you to give up your hobbies so that you can spend more time with her? Whereby also here you must always see whether the whole thing comes from you, because you want to see her perhaps absolutely. Don't do it too soon. It's bound to happen, but if you spend all your free time with her, what are you going to do when she should be away? Even if it's just visiting her parents on the weekend. You will depend on her more and more, and if you are back here because of the ex issue, you are realizing that in the cruelest way right now. You have your priorities and as long as she hasn't fully shown what she has to offer and on a higher level than in bed, as long as she is on your priority list below anything that makes you an autonomous, serious individual. Even your friends are higher on the list for now. I know the phrase, "my wife is my best friend," far too well by now. And no, she is not. You will realize this at the latest at the moment of separation. If you didn't date your best friend and she was your best friend before, she will never have been your friend. And then when you want the friendship, it will feel really weird. Because you and she have never been on a friendly level and it will feel strange to you. So don't give up on your friends because you think you can only rely on them. Then in a relationship later on you share so much more, but it's never a substitute for friends. Next in the text, trust. How quickly do you trust her with your innermost feelings? Has she even earned that yet? Actively deserved? Or do you somehow try to get away with it with her, because you have the feeling that she is something special? A little tip from my side: treat every new person the same at first. Set yourself a frame comparable to a blueprint, how you always want to or can act. This is the maximum you will go until she has given you a reason to reveal such things. That is actually a red flag that she should see in you. This is one thing that is absolutely not socially acceptable. Sure, if you're approached by a beautiful woman in a bar and you've already had a few shots, or you've gotten her pretty drunk, you like to get emotional and talk more than you should. But on first dates, without knowing much more about her? That's like playing Russian roulette with your own psyche. You don't really get to know the person until you break up anyway. She will always be different to you if there is still respect and attraction for you. If these are gone, she will not talk about you differently than within the relationship about other people, behind their backs. Or how she has spoken to you about her exes. Also a factor that absolutely does not belong in the context of dating. Chatter about the ex, positive or negative, is a red flag. Or if she is even still dating an ex. You have to have clear rules and boundaries, but you don't communicate them to them like that, you judge them by them and accept them or not. And if it comes to an argument at the beginning, then that is actually something good. You can see at an early stage how they react to you and the situation and whether it corresponds to your idea. People in relationships who outwardly say they never argue are either lying or sooner or later they're going to have a real problem. By the way, if they lie, that's a good thing because they put themselves in front of each other on the outside and a relationship needs that. So, next point, jealousy. This is a fine line, especially in the beginning. It tends to develop over time and also based on your actions. What you should watch out for: is she not jealous at all? Now most would probably think to themselves that it's something great, but no. It's not like that at all. Because that would mean she thinks she can do whatever she wants and has you safe anyway. This is either due to your behavior of always jumping right when she calls or actively always telling her everything to avoid jealousy or just not doing anything without her anymore. Watch out for this kind of behavior. You will quickly become boring for her and that means you don't care about your crap and about yourself. Keep working on yourself even in a relationship. What you are supposed to change and improve about yourself in no contact you do for yourself and you never stop. Probably this and paying attention to red flags at the beginning would have not only saved the relationship, but possibly ruled it out for you from the beginning. Then you could have continued to increase your value over time and maybe run into someone more suited to you. And of course there is the extreme kind of jealousy. When she always wants to know what you're doing. When she gets mad if you don't tell her directly, she reads your messages on her phone while you're in another room, or starts crying when you do something with friends instead of with her. Especially in the very beginning, this is a red flag. Either address it right away, don't do it at all, or at least be aware that these behaviors will only get worse over time as you spend more time with her. The more crap like this you accept from the very beginning, the more unhappy you will become over time. And maybe this is exactly the kind of thing that caused your relationship to fall apart in the end. Next time, watch out for things that don't fit into your frame. And everyone is different, or has a different understanding of such things. Work out this frame with yourselves. And then stick to it. In every aspect of your life. These are all things that you don't just come up with. Especially when you are already up to your neck in the situation and in the feelings. Do it now and stand up for yourself. No one else will do it for you. Take care and see you in the next video.